concept of an ecosystem is a community of living organisms, plants, animals, microorganisms interacting with each other and their physical environment, air, water, soil. It encompasses both biotic living and abiotic non-living components functioning together as a unit. Ecosystems can vary in size and can be as small as a puddle or as large as a forest or ocean, too. Ecosystem degradation and resource utilization. Ecosystem degradation refers to the deterioration of the environment through depletion of resources, loss of biodiversity, and the destruction of habitats. It can be caused by human activities such as deforestation, pollution, urbanization, and climate change. Resource utilization is the use of natural resources like water, soil, minerals, and forests to meet human needs. Sustainable resource management is crucial to prevent degradation and ensure ecosystems remain healthy. 3. Structure and functions of an ecosystem. Structure refers to the physical and biological components of an ecosystem, including biotic components, producers, consumers, and decomposers. Abiotic components, soil, water, air, sunlight, and climate. Functions of an ecosystem include energy flow, transfer of energy through food chains and food webs, nutrient cycling, recycling of nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus, habitat provision, offering shelter and resources for organisms for producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers autotrophs, organisms that produce their own food through photosynthesis, for example, plants, algae. They form the base of the food chain. Consumers heterotrophs, organisms that cannot produce their own food and rely on consuming other organisms. They are categorized into primary consumers, herbivores that eat producers, secondary consumers, carnivores that eat herbivores, tertiary consumers, carnivores that eat other carnivores, decomposers, organisms like fungi and bacteria that break down dead organic matter, recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. 5. Energy flow in the ecosystem. Energy flow in an ecosystem refers to how energy is transferred from one trophic level to another. It begins with sunlight being captured by producers during photosynthesis. Energy is then passed on to consumers when they eat producers and further to higher-level consumers. Only about 10% of the energy is transferred to the next trophic level, while the rest is lost as heat. 6. The water cycle, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, energy cycle, and integration of cycles in nature. Water cycle, the continuous movement of water through evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and infiltration. Carbon cycle, the process by which carbon is exchanged among the biosphere, geosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere through photosynthesis, respiration, decomposition, and combustion. Oxygen cycle, the movement of oxygen in various forms through the ecosystem, primarily through photosynthesis and respiration. Nitrogen cycle, the transformation of nitrogen and its compounds in the environment, including nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification, and ammonification. Energy cycle, the transfer of energy through the food web and its dissipation as heat at each trophic level. Integration of cycles, all these cycles are interconnected. For example, plants producers play a crucial role in both the carbon and oxygen cycles, while the water cycle influences nutrient availability. 7. Ecological succession. Ecological succession is the process of change in the species structure of an ecological community over time. It can be classified into two types. Primary succession occurs in lifeless areas where soil has not yet formed, for example, after a volcanic eruption. Secondary succession occurs in areas where a disturbance has destroyed an existing community but left the soil intact, for example, after a forest fire. 8. Food chains, food webs, and ecological pyramids. Food chain, a linear sequence of organisms through which nutrients and energy pass as one organism eats another, for example, grass gives rabbit gives fox. Food web, a complex network of interconnected food chains in an ecosystem, showing how various species are related through feeding relationships. Ecological pyramids, diagrams that represent the distribution of biomass, energy, or numbers of organisms at each trophic level. The three main types are pyramid of numbers, shows the number of individual organisms at each trophic level. Pyramid of biomass represents the total mass of living matter at each level. Pyramid of energy illustrates the flow of energy at each trophic level. 9. Ecosystem. Introduction. Types, characteristic features, structure, and functions. Ecosystems can be categorized into various types, including terrestrial ecosystems, forests, grasslands, deserts, etc. Aquatic ecosystems, freshwater ponds, lakes, rivers, and marine oceans, estuaries ecosystems. Characteristic features: biodiversity, variety of life forms within the ecosystem. Interdependence, all organisms are connected and rely on each other for survival. Dynamic nature, ecosystems change over time due to natural and human influences. Structure and functions, similar to the explanations given above regarding structure, biotic and abiotic components, and functions, energy flow, and nutrient cycling. 10. Forest ecosystem. Forest ecosystems are characterized by dense tree cover and high biodiversity. They play a vital role in carbon sequestration, oxygen production, and habitat provision. Forests also regulate the water cycle and soil health. 11. Grassland ecosystem. Grassland ecosystems, including savannas and prairies, are dominated by grasses rather than trees. They're important for grazing animals and support a wide variety of herbivores and predators. They also play a role in carbon storage and soil formation. 12. Desert ecosystem. Desert ecosystems are characterized by low precipitation and extreme temperatures. They support specially adapted plants like cacti and animals like camels that have evolved to survive in harsh conditions. Deserts play a role in mineral cycling and biodiversity. 13. Aquatic ecosystems. Ponds, lakes, streams. Freshwater ecosystems like ponds, lakes, and streams are vital for biodiversity and provide habitats for numerous species. They are characterized by water chemistry, temperature, and light availability, influencing the types of organisms present. 14. Aquatic ecosystems. Rivers, estuaries, oceans. Rivers, flowing water ecosystems that support various life forms and are important for nutrient transport. Estuaries, transitional areas between river and ocean, rich in nutrients and biodiversity, serving as nurseries for many marine species. Oceans, the largest ecosystems on Earth, supporting diverse marine life and playing a crucial role in global climate regulation. 15. Value of biodiversity. Biodiversity has several values, including consumptive value, direct benefits derived from biodiversity, such as food, medicine, and raw materials. Productive value, economic benefits from ecosystem services, such as pollination, water purification, and climate regulation. Social value, cultural, spiritual, and recreational benefits that biodiversity provides to communities. Ethical value, the intrinsic value of all living organisms and the moral obligation to protect them. Aesthetic value, the beauty and enjoyment derived from nature, which enhances well-being and quality of life. Option value, the potential future benefits from preserving biodiversity, including undiscovered species or medicines.